Hello and welcome to the Gauntlet Hangouts. My name is Lowell. If you watch my other videos, you may notice different setting, different camera. Wow, weirdness. I just want to vary it up for these last few days of Gauntlet Hangouts before we go to Jitsi or Zoom or wherever we're going to go. That's how that's going to happen. So tonight we are playing the second of two sessions of a kind of experimental game, which I'm calling Then They Returned, which is very much inspired by It and Castle Rock, and Stranger Things, and so on. Our setting is a early 2000s New Mexico town, and we have our group of teenagers who have encountered some strangeness that they're dealing with right now. And this is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. We're playing with some moves and things that I have done for this hack. The other thing I will mention is that, as I said, this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet gaming community is an online gaming community that includes a variety of podcasts. It includes a couple hundred games on its calendar each month. It includes a Patreon that supports the whole enterprise and includes a monthly magazine called Codex. There's a forum. There's all kinds of things there. If you're interested in that, check that out at gauntlet-rpg.com. But we are going to go ahead and move to look at our characters here. And I'm going to have people introduce themselves, give us the quick pitch on who their characters are. And so, Leandro, I'm going to start with you. Leandro, give us the quick sense of who your character is.
All right. I'm for this session for this series. I'm playing Justine Crow. Her role is the emo/goth. She's basically a gigantic Jimmy Eat World fan from the year 2002. Also, she's kind of unique in this group in that she has a job at the local cafe whose name I'm forgetting at the moment because I've not had coffee myself. She's someone who probably a summer before was just wallpaper, you'd say. And then she came back after summer with kind of like just a new look and a new attitude that she's definitely like trying out. But she definitely feels happier with that. She's got kind of parents who are mildly happy with the direction she's going. She's someone who definitely, because she's employed, she has a bit of an independent streak within her.
And there's some turmoil at home. Your older sister has said some awful things about your father.
Yeah, which is puzzling to her because her older sibling is the more responsible one, the one who gets the straight A, so to speak.
And it is the Castaway Cafe. You may recall that it is themed around the Tom Hanks film of the same name, and has all of those kinds of drinks and themes. All right, it gives us a good sense of where you're at, who your character is. We'll come back to you. Julie, why don't you tell us about your character, Lila?
Yeah, Leela. I mean, you can call her whatever you want.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, so Leela is kind of an only child at the moment because her brother's in prison and nobody really talks about it, but her parents have a small convenience store that's kind of being run out of town by bigger chains and stuff that have come in, and her parents really want her to focus on school, but she's not really interested in it. She kind of just wants to get out of there, be off on her own, and she loves sketching and would maybe like to be an artist someday or something with comic books.
Yeah, and she's unusual that she has a variety of geek interests and skills there. And we discussed last time, but how much do you think your parents make you work at the shop? Is it a lot? Is it a little? Is it kind of fill in? How do you imagine that?
It's more I just kind of do as much as I can. They don't really want me to be there because I think they know where it's headed and they just want me to get educated and be able to make something of myself.
Okay. And then let's come to John Schiffer. Puckett, can you tell us about John?
Hey there, I'm Puckett, he, him pronouns. I'm playing John Schiffer, who is a latchkey punk who also uses he, him pronouns. And He's the kind of guy who gets in trouble from time to time. It's usually just not really respecting authority. His mom works at the hospital, and her name is Bethany. She cleans up there and has been exposed perhaps to some of the weirdness. He claims to be dating whose friend is Kelly? Well, he's claiming to be dating Kelly, but she's actually tutoring him in algebra because he's just not understanding math. And the tail end of last episode, he adopted a kitten.
Yes, that's right. And I think I'm trying to remember about Kelly is.
Yeah, Kelly is Leela's friend.
That's right. And that's sort of been a secret kept between you two about A, that you're hanging out with them, and B, what exactly it is that you're hanging out about.
And it's causing friction.
All right. And what do you think is going to be the reaction when you come home with a kitten?
Well, I'm going to try to kind of ease it in so that maybe my mom won't notice as much.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's as you well know, it's very easy to hide a kitten.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hoping that when she realizes there is a kitten present, that she's just going to think the kitten is so darn cute that we really kind of have to just keep it.
So, in other words, you haven't thought this through that far.
I would go so far as to say that I don't think many things through.
Okay, I think that is a fair thing to say. Which brings us to our last character, Garrett Gamble. Robert, would you tell us about Garrett?
Yeah, so Garrett is the backup quarterback for the high school football team. He's got a very demanding family. His parents are kind of charging everything to credit cards, and they're very much in debt. So they're kind of banking on him becoming like a superstar quarterback and going on to the NFL and making them millions of dollars, or making himself millions of dollars, but hopefully sharing some of that with him, right? Or with them. He also, where is it? Oh, yeah, he also is more into the academic stuff. He's really only playing football because his parents want him to. He kind of, when he went through puberty, had this crazy growth spurt, and his parents were like, okay, yeah, you're going to be the athlete. So they kind of forced him into this life of athletics, and he doesn't hate it, but it's definitely not what he would love to do.
And you have a younger brother, 3 years younger, I believe?
Yeah, younger brother named Brandon.
And you are good at football, but not the starting quarterback. I forget, did we decide that's because you just came, or is it because of your age? Why do you think that is?
I think it was partly, he's sort of new in this school district, so the coaches probably don't know him, and they've probably been coaching the other kid, for his whole career. And on top of that, he probably spends more time studying for tests than he does studying the playbook.
Okay. So before I get rolling into setting up from last time, just a reminder, especially because this is a horror game. It's a horror game involving teens. The X card is our standard safety tool that's on the table that can be used for material that's objectionable, material that's problematic, for things that are wildly off tone, any of those kinds of things. And you can note that. You can say X card, you can mark it in the chat, however you want to do that. If there's something you want to move past. That is certainly legit. So last time, all of you had encountered some strangeness and had heard about some missing people, some missing teens. In fact, Garrett's math partner has been missing for a while, and Justine ran into the sister of another missing kid, Noah Martinez, and got a sense that this was going on, that there were more of these. At the same time, there was a strange encounter that John had with his mother that indicated that something had happened at the hospital. And then probably the most strange and direct encounter with this was Leela's encounter with the strange shambling man who bought the big thing of tea at the shop early in the morning. That strangeness led Leela to kind of push to maybe go and check on what was up with this guy, which led you to the crazy cat lady and the delivery of kittens at that point. And it got dark by the time you're coming back, and you're walking along here at the sort of hot night along the sort of water runoff in case of flash floods, and you saw a young man who you interacted with and realized it was in fact this Noah Martinez, and then he began to change and sprout flowers and thorns that burst out from his skin and kind of rush forward at you, and several of you were sprayed with gore and blood. And this shambling figure that Leela had seen earlier showed up, and as the group took off, they saw him essentially take out a pair of small, like gardening pruning scissors and clip a flower from the body of Martinez. And that was sort of the last thing that you saw. And I'd like to move to essentially, my guess is that you head in different directions, head home after this. It's late, you're freaked out. There is a certain degree of panic that has happened. So we're going to take up with that kind of home scene. We can either do the home scene when you get home or the home scene the next morning, and then we'll move to bring the four of you back together. Does that seem fair? So let's stick with the order from the start. Justine, do you want to do the scene about when you get home or the scene the next day? Because you've got blood all over you.
Kind of interested on the getting home bit, just to see how folks would react.
Remind me of the where you live.
Let's see. I think what we most talk about is that like it's a short drive from the school, but and most of the time it's her mom who drives them to school because her mom works as a teacher.
So kind of a modest house.
Yeah, it's
probably what they call ranch style house, or one floor, kind of goes back a ways. And by the time you get back, you can see through the front window that the TV's on. Either your sister or your parents are watching television. None of them have gone to bed, but it is after dark.
I think I'm not going to try to sneak around. I'm going to just walk in and try to construct an elaborate cover story.
Elaborate cover story of how you're covered with blood?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you don't attempt to cover your tracks or the sound of it, you will come inside, and you will see your mom is sitting there watching television, and she turns around and she looks at you, and she shrieks, like she screams when she sees the blood on you.
Mom! It's okay. It's okay. I can explain.
And you hear a noise from the rest of the house, like that scream has clearly drawn the rest of your family, and she's like, "What? She comes over to you. What happened to you?"
It's not my blood.
What?
Look, it was I need to come up with a name. This is me having to come up with a cover story at this moment. It's okay. Funny thing happened. I was hanging out with some of my coworkers from the cafe, And Enid, right? Well, she likes to she has a skateboard. She likes to use it a lot. And the thing with people who do skateboarding is that there's risks, and uh, it's no, it was ridiculous. She tried a trick and kind of bumped into me, and this is kind of the result.
But bumped into you. What happened to her? Did you take her to the hospital?
Well, we kind of took her to the hospital. I'm surprisingly fine.
Let's have you
There
put
we go.
pressure. This is essentially your kind of trying to fast talk your mom. What do you want to roll that with?
Oh God. I'm not sure. So the state of mind she's in, Justine probably wasn't even really thinking because she was kind of a bit of a fugue after the whole thing with with the flowers and whatnot.
Sure.
I'd say sadness,
Okay. Let's have you roll with that.
which is gonna be just a flat. Oh God, well that's a 4.
And your dad shows up, and he looks at you, and he looks furious. And you see him stalk over to the phone, and you know that he is about to call your boss from the cafe and read him the riot act for letting this happen. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Leela, how did you get splattered very much? How do you imagine that are there any physical traces on you?
No, I think I kind of like stumbled down, and I saved the kitten at the end and just kind of
That's
got wet
right.
and muddy. So
So you've got like some dried mud and dirt and such on you right now. So your clothes are a mess, but there's no obvious blood or anything like that. Of course, when you get home, the shop is still open. There's probably that buzz of the neon and the halogen lights out front, and all of the like evening gnats gathering around that, the dry, the flies that gather out here and go to that, and probably walk through the dust and detritus of them that have died underneath the lights. And you can see that your dad's behind the counter. He's got the little portable television on, and he's watching that, and there's nobody in the shop. You could go in that way, or you could try and like sneak up to the apartment.
yeah, I'm just gonna walk in. There's no hiding it.
Okay? And your dad looks up and he sees you, and he's like, "Where have you been?"
Just hanging out with my friends.
Uh-huh. And why are you covered in mud?
It's pretty hot out. We're splashing around in the drain off sections. Just some water.
You were splashing around in the drain off?
Yeah, it's hot out. I mean, we're just playing around.
What are you, like 8 years old?
Well, we're realizing our childhood won't last forever, Daddy. Like, we're sophomores now. We're a couple years from graduating, and we want to embrace our youth.
And he looks down and he says, "Those are your good shoes."
You only live once, Dad. Like, come on.
I think I'm going to have you do a hearts and minds here. What would you roll with?
Control, I think.
That's a good one.
Okay, so 7 plus 2, I got a 9.
He says, Don't let your mother see that. Just wait here. I'm going to go get you some other clothes. And then get changed and take that right away into the laundry room. Just don't let her see that because she will flip out. Okay?
Yep. Of course. Thank you.
Okay. And he gestures for you to come behind the counter and watch the register while he goes upstairs. And he comes back with essentially the most embarrassing girly things that he can find in your room that he hands off to you. He said, don't do that again. You don't know, kids go down to that place, down to those things to shoot up. You don't know there might be needles, glass in that mud. You don't know what you're, just don't do that. Use your common sense.
Yep, it's out of my system now. Thanks.
Okay. And you can tell that he there was a bit where he was like worried that maybe you were covering up that something had happened to you, but your attitude is light enough that he does think that you were just being dumb, and he will write that off as that. John, do you want to do your coming home scene or the next morning?
If it's okay with you, I would like to do a couple of things.
Let's
Really
see.
quick, I would like John's walking home. He's not on a skateboard like he normally would be because he
Right.
has a kitten. So, knowing full well exactly how bad skateboarding injuries can actually be, he's not on it.
Okay.
Which means he's got time to think, and I would like to roll prep yourself.
Interesting. So tell me what it is that you're thinking. Give me an insight into what you might be imagining for this. What is it that you're thinking about facing, and what is it that you're thinking about as an edge here?
Well, John is considering what we saw in the runoff ditch.
Mm-hmm.
And he's thinking, well, I saw flowers growing out of the one guy. I mean, I don't know what that black gunk was, but if flowers are coming out of it, that probably means that it's flammable. So I think what he's looking at as a potential weakness is fire.
Interesting. What do you want to roll that with?
Let's see. Let me switch back over to the characters. I think control, well, do we uncheck it if we've already rolled with it and we're in a new session, or no?
Nope, it stays. Stays
Okay.
checked.
Well, I don't think joy's at all appropriate. Let's roll flat with fear.
Okay.
That's a 4.
So you've got some blood on you, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the point at which, when you're thinking and walking along with this jacket on the skateboard, that you suddenly get that light that hits you, and the flashers from the patrol car light up, and you will see that the police have, like, there's a couple cops, and they've seen you, and they've run the light on you that you've got blood on you, and they are clearly pulling up to stop you and probably frisk you, ask you questions, kind of thing. Now, you could stand your ground and try to answer the questions. You could run. Some other thing. What do you want to do?
I run to look guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run, I don't know what's going to happen to the kitten. Let's gleam the cube, dude. Let's
Okay.
run.
So
Hop on the skateboard and let's get out of here.
wait till the car, bring the car to the stop, and they're just kind of starting to get out. Catch them at the most unawares, and you drop the skateboard, and you start to take off. All right. So this is going to be a rise to the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to roll that with?
Well, let's see. I already rolled with fear, so that's got to get checked off.
Yeah, you would mark that.
Just out of curiosity, what do we do when we run out of stuff to check off?
Well, here's
Just
the
roll
thing.
flat?
Once you hit 4 of those things checked, that's the point at which you're going to take a trauma that would essentially a permanent thing that will affect you in the future. And that'll clear some of those. But you're going to have a problem that's going to stick with you after that.
All right. I want to get away from them. I'm going to roll with anger because I'm mad that they interrupted my thinking.
Okay. Yeah. And you don't have to check it because you haven't failed yet.
Oh, that's
so you
great.
don't have to check that.
Oh, so you only check it if you fail?
You check it if a move requires it, or often when you fail, that's part of the GM moves. I have you check that stat.
Okay.
So the fear that you checked was part of the fallout from your failure.
Gotcha. All right.
So let's have you roll.
That's
with
10.
Anger. That is a 10. Tell me what that looks like.
Well, they start opening the doors. They're getting out. I start running, drop the board down, jump on it, and it turns out I'm on a hill, which means I'm picking up speed as they're trying to get back into the car and turn around. Now, luckily,
okay,
if it's skatable in this area, I know it. This is one thing about skaters that you always have to understand. If it is skatable, they know it. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a rail, it could be a ditch, it could be a pipe, whatever. And a lot of those things also act as hiding places where you can stash stuff.
So what is the place? What is the thing that you jump and hit or grind and hit and get to? What is the breakaway point for you?
The breakaway point is when he ollies over a median, just like a little boulevard on the sidewalk, which basically allows him to basically kind of do a bomb drop into the ditch. And he slides into a small drainage tunnel on his back, making sure to hold the kitten on his chest because important things are important. So he's out of sight, and it looks like he's just vanished.
Yeah. You hear the car. You can see the flash of the light as they move it around. You hear them on the radio. And they're calling, they're giving a description of you. Teen youth, black leather jacket, blood on him. We're looking around for him, and you probably have to stay there for about maybe 15, 20 minutes before they move on and give you the space that you need to get out from there and head home.
Right.
Let's cut to Garrett. Garrett, of course, your parents are still up. Your brother's still up. And when you get home, I think we established you live in a house too, right?
Yeah.
How do you want to play this?
I think I'm just going to go ahead and walk in.
Okay. And how do you look? I can't remember if you've got anything on you, really.
Yeah, I think I got knocked down a little bit, so I think I'm probably at least a little bit dirty and maybe, just some like very minor scrapes. Nothing major, but yeah, kind of scraped up.
Okay. And do you want to try and sneak past them, or are you just going to...
I think I would like come in like very low key and just try to get to my bedroom as quick as possible without them really noticing.
Then I think let's have you roll to rise to the challenge here.
Okay, I'm going to roll, I guess, probably do with. I guess I'm gonna do with control.
Okay.
That's a 7.
That is a 7. So I think that you will get up the stairs. Parents don't see you, but you see your brother walking along the hallway, bare feet. He's got a box of Captain Crunch in his hands. He's jamming that into his mouth. And he looks up and he sees you, and he sees, you're dirty and filthy and sneaking upstairs. And he does that thing where he looks at you like, oh yeah, I'm going to save this for later. And kind of keeps an eye on you. And then goes back. Like maybe a half hour later, your mom is going to knock on your door.
Yeah, it's okay. Come on in.
She says, when did you get in?
A little while ago, like right before my curfew. I just barely made it home on time. I was out playing, we were just throwing the ball around,
Oh, okay. Good. Keeping the arm limber?
Yeah. I was actually showing some of my friends some of the cool plays that the coach has drawn up for us, and, just kind of showing off and all that.
Well, before you go to bed, and she'll put a big mug of that sports drink down on the sideboard for you. And she says, all right, don't stay up too late.
Yeah. No, don't worry. I'm going to get some rest. I'm pretty tired. I've been running around all day.
Okay. And she leaves it there. And there's that smell of the chocolate and the pomegranate kind of hangs in the air there. Let's come back to you, Justine.
Yeah. Can I try and stop my dad before he finishes dialing?
How do you want to do it? How would you? I mean, are you physically going to intercede, or are you going to try to throw a tantrum, or are you going to shout, or what are you going to do?
I think I've got a tantrum on me. I can't actually pull a tantrum because it's late where I am. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna kind of like say like, Dad, who are you calling?
And that's the thing is he's like, I'm calling your boss. And this is no way to run a business.
Dad, what happened was off. It was off working hours. It was just me and my coworkers just goofing off. It has nothing to do with my boss.
When you're at work and you're a teenager, they are in loco parentis. They are supposed to make sure and oversee you at all times.
We weren't at work. We were hanging out in our off hours. It's not, and besides, we've dealt with it. Like Ian is injured. I'm perfectly fine. All I got is just dirt on me. It's fine. I've dealt with it.
Let's have you put pressure on him. This is our hearts and minds. What do you want to roll that with now?
Okay, I'm definitely angry now. I think part of it is just like I'm beginning to think that like this part of my mind is like, okay, this situation didn't happen, but if it did, I would have dealt with it like this, and I dealt with it like an adult, but that's not what happened. But that's an 11.
That is an 11. Your father it kind of slams the receiver down, and he goes, go up and get changed.
Fine. And I'm gonna stomp past him.
Okay. And you definitely hear some heated words going on between your mother and him. And he's like, she can't be working in a place like that. Got to do something. And there seem to be arguing back and forth about maybe not letting you work there anymore, kind of thing. But that just seems to be the sort of the heat of the moment. And you go up and get changed, and
What is it?
You see or hear your sister, Liza. She's like, "Can I come in?"
Sure, come in.
And she comes in and she looks and she goes, arms crossed, and she just kind of looks at you.
What?
Skateboarding?
Yeah.
And she says, "That much blood?"
It happens. Like, do you hear about that? I swear this happened. There was this thing where this guy like got poked in the needle in a specific place and he bled all over his face. It happens.
She waits. She looks. She's clearly not buying it. But she's like, "Okay." "I'll believe you." She says in that way that says, "I'll believe you because you didn't believe me before. I'm going to show you that I'll believe you."
God damn it.
And she will go out and she will leave.
I think I'm gonna call her name for a bit before she leaves.
Okay.
Liza,
What?
I'm gonna dig into like my knapsack and pull out the missing poster of Noah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bit ridiculous, but you've seen this around, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of kids that are missing.
Yeah. Just, do you mind I keep an eye out for this one? I kind of ran into his sister, and I don't know.
Okay. And she will leave you alone. Layla, what kind of nightmares do you usually have?
Do I usually have?
Yeah.
Oh, just
What?
the typical getting in trouble, forgot my homework, nothing crazy.
And is detention a feature in that?
Yep. Always worried about disappointing my parents.
Yeah, and it's one of those classic moments where you're again in detention, and you know that they've called your parents, and you could overhear that conversation. You could overhear the disappointment in their voices, and the teacher has confiscated your sketchbook, and they've got that up on the front of, their desk in the detention area, and you just know that they're going to like start looking through it and start laughing at your drawings. You just know that's going to happen. That's sort of probably some of the usual things, like they're going to make fun of it, or they're going to show it to the other kids. They're going to do all of that. When the coach, who is the detention person, walks up to you and he says, "Let me see your arm, young lady."
Why?
And he kind of does that reach out, like he's takes your arm like he's checking it for needle marks kind of thing.
What are you doing?
And he's got a grip on it. And you'll see him, it goes like this. And you see he's got what looks like maybe like a lemon seed or something. And you see him reach down and he pushes it into the base of your wrist there. And you can feel it start to move under the skin and start to slide and twist there.
Can I just like kick him and scream and like pull away and fall to the floor? And
Oh, absolutely. Kick, scream, sheets go flying. You're on the floor of your room. What gets knocked over?
my sketchbook off my bedside table just goes flying. Loose papers are now all over everywhere.
And like your mom's probably dozing in the next room between shifts, and she's like, "You okay? What's going on?"
Sorry, I just got tangled in my sheets. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm up now.
Okay. And yeah, she quickly, I mean, you say you're okay, she takes your word and goes back to sleep. What's the sketch that your sketchbook falls open to? And the camera kind of leans in on it.
A weird, shadowy figure, like someone in the shadow of a tree. You can't quite see what's there.
Yeah, and you kind of pick that up, and the thing that gets you when you kind of wake up is your hand is still kind of tingling. Maybe like it fell asleep or something, but it feels weird. Let's come back to John. 20 minutes pass. Can drag yourself out of this drainage pipe. Head home.
Absolutely. I don't want to deal with cops tonight.
Fair enough. And you will get home, and your mother's probably a couple of hours before she has to go in on her shift, so she's still there. How do you want to play this?
Mom, I got a weird question for you.
And how do you look?
A little disheveled, but
Okay.
I think I was far enough away from the majority of the splatter to only have a little bit on me.
And she looks up, she kind of yawns, and you know, you come home looking ragged all the time, so she doesn't say anything. And she's like, what's up?
You were, the hospital sent you home this morning.
Yeah.
I don't suppose they had you cleaning up black gunk that came out of a patient, did they?
I cleaned up a lot of blood this morning.
Not blood. Like almost like oil, but thicker.
She goes, I don't know what you're talking about.
Did anybody kind of explode at the hospital today?
She says, you need to shut your mouth and not say anything like that around. Not if you want me to keep working. Not if you want me to keep having a job. You understand?
I'm not trying to tell stories out of school.
You understand what I'm telling you? I need you to not talk about that.
I think I saw it happen to somebody.
I don't, because I don't want to know.
Okay.
And you can smell she has been drinking.
Not surprised.
Yeah. And she's like, she's, and she like walks out of the room.
Hey, Mom, I got I knock on her bedroom door. I got one more question for you.
What?
What do you use at the hospital to clean up?
It depends on what has happened. Vomit, it's Vobon. That's what we use. Orange pellet stuff.
Okay.
Blood, other things like that, we use disinfectants.
Like just bleach or?
There are all kinds. It depends on the hazard level.
You, what have you been using lately?
She goes, the sanitation manual's in the other room if you want to know.
Okay. Been having some friends getting like skateboard injuries lately, so
I understand they can bleed a lot.
yeah, some knock their heads and it's just real messy. So anyway, thanks, Mom.
And you can hear her having her last drink before she's going to try to sober up before she goes to work.
I grab the sanitation manual and take it to my bedroom with the kitten.
And it's welcome to the wild world of custodial engineering. And it's probably pages after pages of hospital regulations for how to handle materials.
I'm just looking for what they use to clean up blood, because whatever she was using today is probably something that might be effective if we need it.
Garrett, do you sleep like a baby, or do you sleep a little more rough?
I think it takes me a while to get to sleep, but then once I do go to sleep, like it's a deep sleep.
Do you have nightmares?
Yeah, I think so.
What kind of nightmares do you usually have?
I think usually it's almost like the same nightmare of I'm in the football game and the starting quarterback gets hurt and I get put in, but then like the rest of my team is just like speaking some other language and I just can't communicate with them.
And you can't communicate with them, and they're playing and you're trying to get them to go, and there is that moment when the ball gets snapped to you and you fall back and you realize that they haven't listened to you at all, and they've left a wide corridor, and those tackles from the other team, huge, massive, slam into you and knock you to the ground, and you just hit the ground. There's that moment of almost concussive force as you land, and you're on your back and your ears are ringing, and your team is standing around you, not like crouched down to see how you are, but they're kind of standing around you, like upright and looking down at you, and you really can't see anything through the visors and the helmets there. But you'll see the doctor kind of parts the way, and you see this pen light, and you see that light flash in your eyes, and he kind of opens your mouth, and you realize how squishy the doctor's fingers are and he does that, and kind of pull back, and you kind of focus, and you see that guy with the bandaged hands, and he's dropping something into your mouth. And at first you think they're pills, but they don't feel like pills. And it's like he's dropping seeds down into the back of your throat. How do you react?
I think I would probably just try to get up and start trying to spit them out.
And you kind of pushing up. And that's the thing is, as you start to try to sit up, that's when your team bends down and puts their hands on you. And they hold you down. Even as you can feel these things wriggle down your throat, and catch a little bit in the phlegm at the back of your throat, and you can feel them boring their way into you. How do you wake up?
I think probably yelling, because I'm probably like still thinking in the dream. I'm probably trying to look over to the sidelines and like yell for the coach or yell for somebody to come help.
And at that stage, you'll hear your dad, and he kind of sat up screaming, and your throat is kind of raw, and you realize that you may have been screaming for a while. And your dad is there, and he's like, "What's Garrett? Garrett?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just had another one of those dreams, with we're playing football and getting hurt again, and yeah, it's just scary.
Son, you've been screaming for the last couple of minutes."
Oh, I thought I just woke up.
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah, it must have been. You remember when I was younger and I kind of did that sleepwalking a little bit? Like, I don't. Sometimes it just takes me a little bit to wake up all the way.
And he looks at you, and he looks at the undrunk protein shake. And he's like, "Okay. All right. This is where your father is." He kind of doesn't confront things. He's like, "Okay, you go back to bed then."
I think I would probably pick up the protein drink and at least try to drink a little bit of it. Maybe it'll help my throat, and maybe it'll save me from getting chewed out by my mom.
Okay. Do you think it goes down smooth, or does it catch in your throat?
I think maybe it probably goes down a little bit smooth because it's been sitting long enough that like a lot of the powder probably collected at the bottom.
Yeah. So there is that thick end bit that you don't drink, but you do use it, and it does clear your throat, cools it a little bit. Let's cut forward to the next day, and assuming that the four of you will have the opportunity to speak after the school day, to meet up to discuss what has gone on. Does that seem fair? And Leandra, remind me of your kind of hangout place. It's like a park area, right?
Yeah, I think that's where we hung out last time before we went to the kitten to the cat lady, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's a place that's a little bit like another one of the abandoned shops that has a park nearby. So okay.
Yeah.
The cattery. So the four of you are there after school. Justine, do you have to work today, or are you off today?
I probably have to work, but I can like come in and like chat. I have to go in like 20 minutes probably.
Okay, so you got some time before you have to like call in sick or whatever you're going to do. And so the four of you are there, probably a little bit shaken. I assume Leela and Garrett perhaps a little more shaken than the others, but Leela, yesterday you were the one who kind of pushed them to look into this strange person. What do you say to the group today?
I think we should just hang out here today, guys. Yesterday was a bit too much of an adventure for me. I don't know if we'll be as lucky coming back with just a kitten like yesterday.
We can't not do something.
Well, so my mom got sent home from work early yesterday. Real bad cleaning job at the hospital. When I got home last night, I kind of asked her a couple of questions, and she basically freaked out on me. But she told me that The answers to the questions that I had were contained in the hospital sanitation manual, which she had in the other room. So, is anybody good at science? Because I tried reading through this thing, and kind of the only thing that I got from it is just bleach everything, and that can't be right.
I mean, I'm doing okay in science. Like, I'm pretty good at chemistry. I'm
Okay.
Decipher.
Here you go. Please, if you see anything enlightening in here, tell me, because I was asking her about black goop and people kind of exploding, and she just got in my face and said, "Don't you dare tell anybody about this or I'll get fired." So, by the way, I probably should have led with that. Don't tell anybody about this or my mom will get fired and then I'll be homeless. So please don't tell anybody about this. Cool, right? Is that cool?
Yep, that's fine with me.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, do we have any ideas of like where they went or what's going on at all?
I don't know. Maybe we can track the goop.
Can we call it out? This guy? If you got a way to deal with him, then maybe we can just like get him to come to us.
And what are you thinking about in terms of a way to deal with him? I mean, I don't think hitting this guy on the head with a skateboard is really going to do much.
Well, that's when you were talking about bleach or something. Like, if you could figure out a way to like deal with this gardener guy, then I'll figure out a way to find him or draw him out.
Maybe just spray him with weed killer.
The gardener. I mean, wait, does that like sound too much like 80s Stephen King monster? I mean, it kind of fits.
I don't know. What do you want to call him?
I mean, the gardener's good enough. I don't know. I was wondering maybe a fire will do the trick. I mean, fire does a lot, but I also don't want to. I already had to explain to a judge why I had matches and gasoline that one time, so I kind of don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I mean, I can look through this manual and see if anything jumps out at me, but I'm just worried about some of the other kids that have gone missing. I mean, one of the football players went missing.
We saw one of those missing kids.
Yeah, that happened. Exploding, or they started asking questions?
I don't know. I mean, my mom wouldn't talk about anything, and we saw somebody basically explode. So maybe.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I've never really. It's kind of embarrassing, but I never really liked scary movies that much. It kind of messes with my head. But did anybody else have like weird dreams last night about what happened?
Like seeds being shoved into you, and not in a gross sexual way.
I didn't sleep. I had a kitten.
Yeah, I didn't sleep. I had music and stuff and thoughts, fun stuff.
Yeah, I would say they were definitely seed-adjacent dreams.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but I mean, with everything we saw, I didn't think too much of it. I mean, we didn't get any seeds in us, did we?
I hope not.
I mean, there is like spores and pollination and stuff, isn't there? Like, like dandelions.
But then that means we need to take care of this guy as soon as possible before his seeds sprout.
Yeah, I don't want to explode.
You know what? Truer words have never been spoken. I don't want to explode either.
Okay. All right. If people like your mom don't want to ask questions, then we won't ask questions. We'll fucking shout them out. Like people must know or see like this gardener dude, and if they think they can just like stay hidden or whatever, no, we'll just like make sure people know about him. Leela, you told us you met that guy, right?
I mean, he came into the shop earlier yesterday, but I mean, I don't really know him. I don't know where he'd be.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's so that you saw him. Can you draw him?
Yeah, I could draw him. But I mean, he was wearing like a scarf and sunglasses and gloves and a hat and everything. I mean, the only identifying thing is like his bright green scarf.
Great. So you'll be sketching the Unabomber in winter gear.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Like, so long as we get that, because then that's kind of telling him that we met him and he was all freaked with us, but we survived that, and we're not. I mean, we're telling him that we're not scared. I mean, I'm scared. I mean, I assume we're all scared, but
Well,
I
should
mean-
we maybe go tell the kid's family that exploded? I mean, you met his sister. Should we?
Do you,
Something?
you think they're going to believe us? Hi, we're sorry. Your son's dead. He exploded.
Well,
I mean,
maybe he got into some weird cult or something, or he was doing some weird drugs with some people and got injected with seeds a few days ago. Maybe his sister family knows something.
yeah, but that's asking him questions. That's not saying, by the way, sir, your kid blew up in a drainage ditch. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I'm just saying it's like tell them what happened. I mean, nobody's going to believe
Yeah,
that.
I guess we can't.
I
Sorry,
mean,
my
if
mind's still messed up.
if you talk like there's been like this weird guy around school, and have you seen a weird guy around? Maybe that'll help. But it's we gotta ask questions. I mean, my mom was ready to just like go off on me last night about this stuff. So I mean, there are people who seem to know, and they are not talking. And I don't know how to make them talk because I don't want to get my mom fired.
but it's fine. All I want to do at this point is just make a big enough scene so that they can't not notice.
So I'm hearing a couple of things. Planning on somebody sketching to try and get a picture of this person. Somebody trying to look at the sort of scientific side of things. And also possibly going to the Martinez's and trying to maybe get some info without like tipping your hand too much there. Am I right on that sort of sense of what's on the table?
I mean, I could also put word out amongst the skaters and the punks. I mean, they hang out in spots where no one else goes. They might
Okay.
know something.
Yeah, Justine's plan with the sketch that she was asking for Lila for was to post it up at the cafe with just a caption. Have you seen this creepy gardener person? Watch.
So Leela puts together a sketch and you're going to spend some time getting it circulated around?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to distribute the sketch. Leela, you were thinking about talking to the Martinez's just to kind of get maybe some info?
Yep.
Okay. And so let's do those two. Then we'll come to Garrett, looking into the sort of study move for the sort of technical side of things, and then we'll come back to John and talking with the skater underground. Layla, just give me a sense of this sketch. Is it really good? Is it really unnerving? Is it more of a police sketch? How do you imagine it looking?
I think it's a little bit more exaggerated than realistic, just because like having the emotional experience of the creepy guy.
So it looks a little comic booky.
Yeah, he looks pretty cartoony, monsterish, more so than a person.
Okay. So you've got this sketch. I assume you're going to the copy shop in the area then to go in and get copies made. Justine?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can.
So probably going to Kinko's, which is still around in this time and not yet bought by
Oh, yeah.
FedEx.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, where are you putting these sketches at?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna start at the cafe, and this is where I think I'm gonna call in a favor once a session. I'm calling a favor from my employer or family, and yeah, I think definitely like the favor is get the word out about these sketches, and I owe you to my boss. Um, I think partially the favor is to get that out, and also to like give me some because I'm meant to be working in 10 minutes, but like give me some time to like get these sketches out.
Sure. And I think if you're using your move to do that, normally I might have you make a roll for that, but I think because you're using your move to do that, I think you can do that without a problem. And your boss is like, what does say, what the hell is this?
Oh, it's it's they use this. It's this term they call viral marketing. I don't know what that means. But yeah, we're getting the word out. There's this guy, the gardener. I don't know, maybe some college kids are doing a thing, but yeah, I'm meant to be I'm meant to help putting these out. It's just a favor. It's
But what is it?
so there's this guy, and I'm looking at the sketch, which is like, yeah, it does look a bit comic booky. And, it's like, yeah, so it's a story about this guy, the gardener, who's going off like he's a creepy guy. He doesn't he's snooping around, kind of like not seducing, the wrong word. Like he's like a villain, I guess. He's like this boogeyman going after like unsuspecting like young people. It's I it's like Blair Witch. You remember Blair Witch?
Yeah, Justine, are you on the weed?
No.
Okay.
I-
Okay, look, I'll put your posters up, but don't do anything freaky. Don't like make this some sort of haunted house thing or something, okay?
I know, Mr. Guerrero. I know.
Okay. Okay. And he will go and have people put stuff up, and you will get these posters out and visible and on the street. Leela, you want to approach the Martinezes and maybe try and talk to them and maybe get some info. Is that my understanding?
Yep.
Do you want to go through? Do you go through the daughter, or do you talk to the parents? What do you think?
I think I talked to the daughter. She's around my age, goes to my school.
Okay. And so one of the things is you can go and talk to her. She's interested in talking because she's still worried about her brother. So you definitely have the opening to try and get some more information from her, which means I want you to do the study move. And what would you like to roll that with?
Could I actually use my roll move where I can just once per scene ask a question from study without rolling?
Sure, sure. You can do that and roll if you want. Do you want to start with your free question first?
Yeah, I'll do the free question first.
Okay, sounds like a good plan. So what is it that you want to know? What is it that you want to get from her?
I think I want to know like what her brother was kind of going towards in life. Like what was he involved in and passionate about? Could that be something?
Yeah, and you talk to him, and you definitely get the sense that he was a hard worker. Like he did a lot of part-time odd jobs and things like that after school. and in some ways kind of a little bit of the opposite of you, like always wanting to work and pitch in and things like that. And he'd been doing those odd jobs lately. A lot of lawn care and gardening and that kind of stuff. And then he just went missing.
So can I pick up on that gardening detail and be like, wait, gardening? Who do you,
Sure.
what do you garden
Now,
for? Like,
now I'll let you do that study move to get further info.
okay. So wait, do I ask a question now and then roll for it?
No, what you'll do is you'll roll, and then it'll tell us how many questions you get.
Okay.
What do you want to roll with?
Sorry. I think I want to roll with just sadness. Like, it's been so stressful and everything.
That sounds perfect.
So +1 is 11.
11. So you have you can ask 2 questions, or you can instead declare something that you learn. Like you can establish a fact about the situation.
I think I want to declare that, like she mentioned, her brother had some friends that were also working with him.
Yeah, to say he and his friend Arturo were working for Miss Clennan's. She has a whole kind of scrubby backyard that they've been working on, doing some seeding and pulling up with the sod and kind of redoing that. Like she clearly decided that they were going to do a whole bunch of replanting, and I think his friend Arturo is still working for her. I've talked to him, but he hasn't seen him for a while.
Oh, okay. And where does she live? Like, where would he be there now?
He might be. It's just after school, and they'll give you the address to Mrs. Clennan's place.
Okay, thanks so much. And then I'll just like run off to try and go find some of my friends so I don't go there alone.
Okay. What? You don't want to go alone? Okay. We'll come back to you on that. Let's come to then Garrett. You wanted to think about scientific methods for dealing with this?
Yeah, I think I would probably definitely use that book, the manual that John gave me.
Mm-hmm. Let's have you roll a study move. What do you want to roll with?
I think I'll probably roll with control again.
Okay.
And that is a 4.
Okay. Number 1, please mark control. And I think that you will feel, as you're kind of sitting there today, like something like a twinge, and then a feeling like for a second something moving under the skin under your cheekbone.
Yeah, I think I'd probably just try to scratch it. Like maybe it's just a twitch or something.
Yeah, you do that, and when you have like a boil or a nice skin thing, and it surprises you how big it is. You kind of go to scratch at it, and your finger kind of catches on that, and it feels like a slightly solid mass below the skin there.
I'd probably go check it out in a mirror.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big welt. kind of slightly darkened and discolored.
Does it look like, I mean, like a welt, or is it more of like a zit, or?
Geez, you don't know.
Hmm.
It's kind of irritating, kind of painful.
I'll probably just try to avoid scratching it, but it's
Okay.
definitely bugging the crap out of me.
Okay, yeah.
At the same time, also bugging me because I would not want to get like a huge ugly zit and then have to go hang out with Justine.
Yeah, your cheek is warm. You get that tightness, the skin there, and yeah, you kind of focus yourself not to think too much about it. Okay, that seems reasonable. Let's come to John. John, you wanted to talk to your skater friends?
Yeah.
Okay, then let's have you roll study.
Okay.
What do you want to roll with?
I think I want to roll with sadness because this is something that is. I mean, there is a kid who is. Well, I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it happen. I've been covered in blood. My mom yelled at me. Like, about the only good thing that's happened to me in the last 24 hours is getting a kitten.
Fair enough.
That is an 8.
So you have one hold. What is it that you want to know?
Is it 2 questions to want to find out if any of my skater friends have seen him, and if so, where?
I think it's one question, but the detail isn't going to be particularly good on the second half. Does
Okay.
that seem fair?
Fair enough.
And you know, we'll talk to him, give him the description, and ask him. He goes, "Oh, like that guy that's in those pictures."
The one over at the cafe?
Yeah.
That dude.
And
Like,
then
homeless dude, like, basically a parka, scarf, like, Unabombery, but, like, ready to go skiing.
and one of them goes, "You know what? I think I did see that guy. He was with Pianchi, the weed dealer."
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Where'd you see him?
God, no, so Piaget's like, I know he lives like somewhere around the games shop. Like it's like one of those places around there. I know he always hangs around there. The owners kind of look the other way with his dealing, so I assume somewhere around there in one of those blocks or areas around that.
All right.
Sorry, I can't be more help, but yeah, he's a weed dealer.
I mean, it's better than
Nice.
nothing. I just, like, it. You guys haven't bought any weed from him, have you?
Of course we have.
Like, in the last couple days?
Yeah, like Mariachi came into like a garbage bag full of weed. Said it was ditch weed, but it was still pretty good. You know?
Yeah, dude. Don't smoke it. Not just don't for like a day or two. He gave you some bad shit. I mean, it's laced. I don't know what it's laced with. I don't know if it's laced with like if he dusted it, I mean, all I know is it's bad. Like, there's pesticides and I don't even know what else on it. So I mean, you smoke that stuff. I mean, kids have been going to the hospital with it, man. Like, massive lung problems, hemorrhaging, like they're bleeding internally from it.
Let's have you put pressure. What would you do that with?
I think I'm going to roll with anger because Piachi's trying to fuck with my friends now.
That seems fair.
That is a 10.
So they're like, oh, okay, man. Yeah, if you say so. We'll, you know, they're disappointed, obviously, because they got cheap weed and now they got to throw it away. But yeah, you'll get them to not smoke it.
Small favors.
Small favors. Let's take our 5-minute break here, and then we will come back and we'll take up with the group discussing these matters. Okay?
All right.
Take 5. So I finally got my full set of the Zombie World game, a nice box set with all the expansions and stuff. I'm very, very excited. It's a very beautifully produced little game.
Yeah, I got mine yesterday. I really like the laminated character sheets. It's kind
Yeah, it is very nice. Let's take up with our group sort of following these various revelations that have come and investigations of one sort or another. And essentially take up with the group meeting again to discuss things. By the way, I do like the irony, the play, the character that Justine is the one who spent money to get things done. So I thought that was appropriate, looking back at the character notes there. So I think both John and Leela have pulled together some concrete information. So how would you present that to the group, Leela?
I mean, so we all kind of went off. Like, are we meeting back up in the same spot now?
Yeah, I assume. Is it the same spot, or have you arranged a different place for the group to hang out?
Or maybe we decided we'd meet Justine since she had to work or something. So we're all just.
Oh yeah,
like,
so you're at the Castaway Cafe.
Hey guys. So I found out that you know that kid we saw last night. He has a friend, and I think I know where he is right now.
What's his who's his friend? What's he like?
And
Uh,
what does that have to do with it? I mean,
Well, I mean, we want to find more what's going on, right? So, I mean, that guy showed up like right around the time he exploded. So maybe if we go find another exploding kid, we'll find the guy so we can stop us.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, you just said the kid had a friend, and it's like, well, we've all got friends. I mean, well,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
you all
sorry.
have friends.
A friend that worked with him. So they both
Oh,
were
okay.
doing some like kind of gardening thing, and yeah, he's at this lady's house, like just down the street. So we can probably go find him now and see if he knows anything, or see if that guy's there.
Okay. So I talked to some of the guys that I skate with, and one of them said that they had seen somebody who looked like the dude hanging out with Piachi, and he's always over by the GameStop, and we can probably, I shouldn't say always, but I mean, if we can't find him there, we can probably find somebody who knows where he is there, or at least somebody there who knows where he is or where he will be. I mean, dude's got to make money. He's not going to venture too far away from that place. But bad news is apparently he showed up and has been giving out, just straight up giving away weed. And I don't know how many people have smoked it. But if he's hanging out with that dude, and we've already seen that dude around when people have basically turned into plants and exploded, odds are that whatever is causing that is probably, the weed's probably laced with it. So there's not really any good news there, is there?
No.
No, not really.
Well, we just gotta find this gardener guy before he can garden his seeds.
Okay, when we find him, then what? What do we do?
Yeah, Garrett, did you find something out from that manual?
I mean, no, not really. It's hard to focus on it. I don't know. I just have this weird itch. It's probably
Weird. What kind of a weird?
Yeah. What kind of weird itch?
Garrett, what is wrong with your face?
Nice.
It's just I'm just breaking out a little bit.
That's nasty. That is not normal.
Yeah, no, my mom's making me drink these protein shakes, and like too much protein, and my face breaks out, and she's really getting on me about it.
Dude, we've all had zits, and that's no. Have you looked in the mirror?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
A little bit. Dude, go look in the mirror. There's a bathroom like just back there. Go look in the mirror.
I mean, I looked long enough.
Then you know that what you've got going on there is not zits.
Well, I mean, look, those protein shakes, they mess with you.
Yeah, dude. I know people who use meth. Those are not zits.
Wait, are you saying I do meth?
No, I'm saying I know people who have really weird breakouts because of really weird things, and those are not. No, dude, no, just no.
Wait, that's a good idea. I mean, not doing meth. I mean, like, do you know someone with needles? Can we like suck it out and see what's in him?
I mean, I'm not like a science experiment. Guys.
You are now, buddy. Hey, no, actually, wait a minute. I mean, there's knives here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
What?
look, here's what I want you to do. Go get me a sharp knife. And Garrett, it'll sting a little bit, but I picked up. My mom works around doctors. I know a thing or two. I watched MASH. I've seen medical shows, so I got this. We're gonna get that thing out of you.
Yeah, I mean,
Go give me a sharp knife. Give me some alcohol. You don't actually have like booze here, like hard stuff, do you? You don't have like bourbon or vodka or anything. Never mind. We don't have to worry.
I mean, yeah, doctor skills are historically genetic, so I see where you're going with this. Except for the part where we cut my face open.
Look, we're not going to cut your face open. It's just, look, we're just going to put, I mean, it's like, I've had to do this with blood blisters before. You just kind of prick it and you like squeeze it and it all comes out and it's good. So if it's just a pimple, we're going to see a lot of pus and that's it. And if it's not, then we've got a different problem.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a big problem because do you have any idea how pissed my mom is going to be if I come home with a scar on my face? Like, she's expecting me to get sponsorship deals one day.
Dude, it's not going to be a scar. It's just going to be like a little pinprick. Like, we could do it with a safety pin, or we could do it with like, a needle if we had to, like a sewing needle.
Yeah, okay, I like a needle more than a knife.
Dude, we're in a restaurant. I work with what I got.
Yeah, I'd like to think a restaurant, like a cafe like this, would have safety pins. We don't need to skip to the knife.
Yeah, probably got like a tax for the board.
Yeah, we can just take. Yeah, we don't need a knife.
All right.
Because I don't know what Mr. Guerrero would say if I ask for a knife from him. You just use those like those thumbtacks. They'll be.
All right, Garrett, we're going to the bathroom. Let's do this. And as we go, I'm like pulling the lighter out of my jacket pocket. I'm like holding it underneath the metal of the push pin.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's sterilizing it right now. Fire sterilizes everything. See?
Yeah.
You don't even have to worry about getting an infection. Trust me.
Okay.
I'm proud to be part of this plan.
All right. So this has got to be a skill, right? This is going to be a move. This has got to be a move of some sort.
Yeah. I think let's have you rise to the challenge here.
Okay, because I was going to say, is it stand by me, share a moment, rise to challenge?
I think this is going to be rise to the challenge. What do you want to roll with that?
Ridiculousness, but that's not an option.
Fair enough.
I might as well try anger again.
So angry mood, and you're going to jam this pin into his cheek.
Well, I'm angry that it has come to this, that I mean, my friends are in jeopardy. I mean, I don't want my skate punk. I don't want my skater bros like, smoking bunk weed with like
Sure.
whatever the hell this stuff is.
Let's
So
have you
I'm gonna
roll.
be angry at Garrett.
Go ahead and roll.
Oh boy, that's a 5.
So,
Marked off anger.
yep. I think the thing that will bug you is that you jam that in there, and it hurts like a lot, Garrett. And when the needle goes in, it hits something hard. And your finger kind of slides along, like there's some blood, and your finger kind of slides along the needle. And John, you feel something like push against your finger when it touches his cheek. And when you pull your hand back, you can see that your pointer finger has swollen up at the tip, and it's like there's a hard nodule under the skin there now. And blood is coming down Garrett's face.
That's way too much blood for this push pin, dude. There's no way it should be
What
bleeding.
did you do? Did you get it?
Well, I got some good news and bad news for you. The bad news is no. But the good news is we know it's something that definitely should not be there.
Well, yeah. I mean, a push pin probably shouldn't be there either. That hurt like hell.
Well, that's probably whatever's in your cheek. But we know that it's not something normal. So at least there's that.
John, you'll feel that nodule that's in your fingertip start to move down the finger.
You know what? I'm going to jab the push pin into my own finger to try to stop it.
All right.
Can sorry. Can
Yes.
Leela like burst in and because she heard Garrett screaming and be like, "What are you guys doing?"
Absolutely. I think in the middle of this
That's reasonable.
conversation, you'll get that door open, and you see that John is standing there. He's got this needle in his hand, blood everywhere. He's looking at his hand. You'll actually probably see this thing moving along his finger, and you see Garrett, and there's blood coming out from between his fingers as he touches his cheek. What do you do, Leela?
Garrett, are you okay? What did you get? John, what is happening?
I mean, it hurts. We just tried to push pin, and it was bad.
Whatever's in his face definitely should not be there. It's not.
Is it out of his face and in your finger now? What's wrong with your hand?
Well, the answer to both questions is I don't know.
Do we think stabbing's gonna make it better? Like,
I'm just trying to get this thing not to go any farther down my finger. I figure if I put the push pin in there, if I literally put a tack in it, if I put a pin in it, it'll stop.
maybe do you just? I don't know. You have some rubber bands, or here, take a ponytail holder, like band, like.
Oh, good
tie
call.
some string, like, goodness.
Absolutely. Leela, you can easily pull out something to kind of, what do you call it, tourniquet.
Yes, arrest.
Okay. Absolutely. And do you have just a hair tie or something like that?
Yeah, just ponytail holder for my bag or something.
Okay. Pull that out. You wrap that around a couple of times on there, John, and this thing will kind of push against that, but kind of come to a stop there, right about here.
So we arrested its development?
That could be. Justine, Mr. Guerrero comes over and says, would you please go and look and see what your friends are doing? I heard some shouting at the bathrooms. If they're making a mess in there, you're going to have to clean it up, okay?
Yeah. No worries, Mr. Guerrero.
And I want you to mention that these are the two, like the bathroom of a cafe. It's kind of been renovated. They've probably done paintings on the walls and stuff like that. It's not the most sterile or clean environment that the three of you are standing in at this point. Yeah, you'll see there's blood.
How are you feeling, Garrett?
It hurt a little bit at first, but I get hit a lot all the time, so I'm used to the pain. The pain's not bad. It only hurts a little bit. Some of the times, a lot.
Let's hope that doesn't become a regular thing. Anyway, guys, my boss is getting concerned with the screaming.
Yeah.
And my break's nearly done. And apparently I need to clean up all this.
Listen, you need to call off. You need to tell him you're sick. Tell him there was an accident in the bathroom and it's bloody and you threw up and that means you can't be around the food anymore tonight. We'll all get out of here and we'll go solve this mess as best we can.
Okay, all right.
I have
That shouldn't be too hard.
a weird question, Garrett. Garrett, what are you using to staunch the blood?
Probably toilet paper.
Okay, so you've a big old mass of that. That's probably quite reddish by now.
Yeah, I think I started with a little bit, and then I just kept pulling it off the roll, and now I've got like basically half a roll of toilet paper stuck to up next to my face.
Absolutely. Can I please have you roll a move for me then? And that would be inner struggle, because you look a little foolish in front of Justine right now.
Do I roll plus anything, or is that just...
Yeah, what do you want to roll with?
I guess I would probably go with sadness, because I'm standing here in a bathroom. I just bled all over the floor. Everybody knows about it because I was screaming, and I rolled 2 1s, so that's not good.
So you're going to mark sadness. And there is that moment when you're standing there when you suddenly realize you've gotten very lightheaded. And the 3 of you are standing there kind of talking about what you're going to do next. You see Garrett faint and goes weak in the knees, and you'll hear the clunk as his head hits the drywall and cracks in the drywall and kind of slumps to the floor. What do you do, Leela?
Garrett, what happened? Oh my gosh, guys, what? He lost too much blood. Wait, John, your mom works in a hospital. Could she do something? Can we take him to her? Like, she knows something's going on here. Like,
She's a cleaning lady. I mean,
well, she can help us clean this
hang
up.
on. Just give him a second. He passed out. He didn't. It's not blood loss. He hasn't bled that much. Just give him a second.
You hear from back behind you, Justine. And your boss is like, "What's going on, Justine?"
My friend hurt himself and has passed out. I'll clean up. Don't worry,
Is he
Mr. Guerrero.
okay? Do I need to call an ambulance?
Yeah, I kind of look at John. It's like he'll wake up. He's tough. He does a lot of sports. He's sporty like that. He'll be fine.
He says, and he kind of starts to push you guys aside, like as an adult. He like comes over and pushes you guys aside, and Guerrero's kind of a big guy, John, and he's gonna push you out of there to try and get Garrett up. What do you think, John?
Just let me help you get him up.
Okay.
You don't need to be like doing this all on your own, man. I appreciate it, but you don't need to be doing it all on your own. Let me help.
Guerrero looks at you because you got blood all over you, and he's like, he doesn't say a word, but he will, 2-hand, he yanks Garrett up and moves him out to sort of the back of the cafe doesn't take him out to the main area and drops him down in one of the booths there, and he points it at John, points at Leland and says, "You two sit with your friend. Justine, go and get a bottle of Tropicana. Bring it out here for your friend, and then clean up the bathroom."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Guerrero looks at the three of you once Justine has stepped away, and he goes, "I don't know what you kids are on. I don't want to know. But after tonight, you're not welcome here." And then he walks away. Garrett, you kind of come to, look around, you're in a booth. You were just in the bathroom. Now you're in a booth. And you just remember that you kind of got embarrassed and flushed, and then suddenly everything kind of went blank on you.
You guys, what happened? Like, John,
You passed out.
Did you give me drugs? I heard this is what happens with drugs.
No, dude, I don't even do drugs. I just know people who do. I don't. No, I wouldn't. Look, I'm not going to screw up your scholarship or anything like that. I know that's the goal for you. You don't need to have anything in your system. No, it wasn't drugs. You just passed out. Maybe it's because there was too much blood and I don't know, but you passed out. That's all.
I mean, you got the thing out, right? Like, we're good?
No, I don't think I got it out. There's something in my finger now from where it was, from where my finger touched you. We're very much not good, dude.
Did you try stabbing it?
You know, I tried, but Leela stopped me and put a hair tie on it. So, I mean, it's still there. Look, I mean, you can see it moving around, but the rubber band stopped it, so it's not going any farther.
Okay. So what are we gonna do? Also, where's Justine?
She's cleaning up the bathroom. Good news. The good news is anyone who can handle cleaning up your blood is clearly an awesome person. So there's that. Bad news is she's cleaning up your blood.
Yeah, I mean, I already knew she was awesome, but
I'm just
that's kind of gross.
Affirming. Awesome.
I think we just need to get Justine and get out of here.
Yeah.
We gotta figure something out.
Do we want to split up and see if you guys can go talk to the kid who's doing the gardening? Well, look, it's gonna be easier for me if I go to if I'm looking for Piachi. I mean, I can probably take one of you with me, but I mean, honestly, it'd probably be best if it was Justine, because Leela, no offense, you don't look like you'd be looking for weed. And Garrett, you're a football player. I mean, if you're looking for weed, you're going to blow your scholarship. You don't need to be around that dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That's good with me. I mean, I still don't really feel great.
It's fine. The lady's
drink
not
that
wrong.
orange juice right there. I mean, that'll help. Maybe it's just low blood sugar. Maybe you haven't eaten enough.
Yeah, I mean, I also kind of hit my head, but I mean, it's probably
Dude, you hit your head all the time. You play football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's not a concussion unless it's major, so it's probably fine.
I mean, how many fingers am I holding up? And I hold up my middle finger.
I mean, just the one, but technically you've got your other finger's messed up, man.
Listen, but I'm not holding that one up.
No.
So look, you can count the number of fingers I'm holding up. We're good. Right? That means it's not a concussion. Right? That's how it works. Right?
That is what that means.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we can do this.
We got this.
Justine, you get that cleaned up. when you're done with that, your boss says you can go for the rest of the night.
You know, if no one else has said it, Mrs. Guerrero, you're the best.
Yeah, your friends aren't welcome here anymore.
I know. Thanks.
And he sends you on your way. We'll assume there's an unsightly bandage on your face now, Garrett, at this point, from a first aid kit. And so, if I understand right, Justine and John are going to go and talk to PbtA, the drug dealer, and Leela and Garrett are going to go and find this Arturo guy. All right. Then let's start with Leela and Garrett. You will have been given an address. It's still not that late. It's still probably getting, just on dusk here. And you will head over to the address given you for Miss Clennons. And it's an older part of town that's probably used to be nicer, but has fallen off in recent years. Houses are less kept up, but decent sized yards, mostly stone, and what passes for wild grass and things like that for lawns in this kind of area here. And you can definitely see that the backyard is kind of a mess of brambles and overgrown things, but it looks like there's somebody working back there doing some clearing on it. Even as you two arrive, would you go ring the doorbell? Would you go around the house? Would you scout the area? How do you two want to do this?
I don't think we have time to waste. I think we just go to the back and talk
Okay.
to the kid or whoever's working back there.
All right. So you will walk around back, kind of go along the side of got chain link fence there. Kind of doesn't look like they have any dogs or anything like that. Kind of walk past where they keep the garbage cans out here. You know how garbage cans get that smell in the hot summer, where and clearly like foodstuffs and meat has been left in there for a while. Definitely get that smell as you walk past those. They're those old aluminum cans, where sometimes they're old enough you can see kind of the wear and rust bits at the bottom, where they've kind of corroded. Stuff's leaking out of that. But the two of you will walk around and you can see that while there's lots of brambles and scrub and dry brush that's grown up back here, in the center part has been very, very, very well cleared, and someone's laid down like gardening sod, and they've got a sprinkler going, and you can see that they've got some flowering bushes back here. Very nice. And you'll see this kid who's about your age, is probably has just a t-shirt on, sort of dirty jeans, got these oversized gardener's gloves on, and you see him hauling some sod around and clearly doing some work back here when the two of you pop back here. And he sees you, and he stops, and he's like, can I help you?
Yeah, you used to work with Noah, right?
Yeah, I know he's here, work here with me, yeah.
He's been missing for a few days.
I
Do you
know his
remember last?
sister's going crazy. She's come by here a couple of times.
Did you notice anything weird with him the last time you saw him?
Weird like how? What do you mean?
Like, Like on drugs, maybe?
Anyways, he's like, no, it didn't do that kind of stuff. I mean, he and I worked. I was just surprised when he didn't show up. We've been helping Miss Clemens here, get this all together, and it's been a lot of work.
Can I kind of like turn to Garrett quietly and be like, he's totally on drugs, isn't he?
I don't know. Why does everybody know somebody that's on drugs?
You're on the football team. Everyone's on drugs.
Not those kind of drugs.
Drugs are drugs. They're all chemicals.
I
And
don't.
you hear this of the back screen door, and you see this elderly woman kind of come out, and she comes in and looks at you, and she says, "Arturo, who are these? Who are these two young friends of yours?" And you say, "Miss Clemens is just they're friends of Noah's. They came to ask about we knew." She's like, "Oh, what's your name, little girl?"
Hi, I'm Leela, and this is Garrett.
"Hello,
And he just
Garrett."
wanted to
Hello, Leela.
talk to you a little bit. And I just kind of step back because I'm done talking to creepy old ladies.
"Oh, you're a stout young man, aren't you? Like a tree trunk of a man."
Yeah, ma'am, did you see anything weird about Noah?
"No, he's a very hard worker. Good stock."
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he did very good work back here.
Arturo says, "Well, I did most of his work. It's only the last few days we've had the flowers bloom."
What kind of flowers are these?
And that's the point at which, Garrett, when you look at them, you'll realize these bushes, you've seen them before, these flowers. Because you saw these flowers blooming out of Noah. And that's what these flowers are.
Yeah,
She goes, "It's my own special hybrid."
Wow, that's really cool. Do you have any spare seeds? Maybe? I love botany.
"Oh, certainly. I'd be glad to give you some seeds." And she starts coming down the steps towards you. "Garrett, what do you do?"
that's a good question.
"Maybe you like to face fear?"
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
I'll face fear with anger.
Okay. Then go ahead and do that. And you don't have to mark it when you roll it unless you fail.
So that's a 9.
That is a 9. So you have a choice, Garrett. You can either mark that emotion that you just rolled, or you can flee in a costly way.
What did you say happens when we mark 4 emotions?
When you mark 4 emotions, you are going to get a trauma. Something that's going to freak you out now and is going to stay with you for the next 20 years of your life.
I guess I'll choose fleeing.
Okay. So what is the cost here? Do you embarrass yourself? Do you leave Leela behind? What is it?
I think the cost. I think probably. I probably fall. Like I'm just like trying to get away from this lady, and I fall down, and somehow like the bandage on my cheek gets torn, and I think I just leave like a small trail of blood. I probably even like squirt a little bit of blood like out onto the flowering bush or something.
Absolutely. Leela, you turn as you see Garrett flip out. like looks at you like, we need to go, and then goes to run, trips, catches himself on the chain link fence, tears his cheek open, sprays blood, and takes off. What do you do, Leela?
I'm gonna try and run after him because I don't want to be here.
Okay.
No good.
Then let's have you rise to the challenge, because that old woman is a little more faster than he kind of thought she was. What do you want to roll with?
I'm gonna roll with anger. Like all these people are coming after us. We didn't do anything. So that's just a 5.
That is a 5. So go ahead and mark anger. And as you go to run to turn, that woman grabs your wrist, exactly like that guy did in the dream. And she holds onto it, like she holds you there, and she says, "It's a pity that I didn't meet you earlier, before I grew my prize roses. Maybe later, Leela." And then she lets go of your hand to let you go.
And I'm just gonna go running away as fast as I can after
Okay.
Garrett.
Arturo's like looking at you like he's watching the two of you take off. He has no idea what's going on. And we're going to cut from that to the two of you, John and Justine. You will ask around, and you will find out that Pianchi, he actually has an apartment he rents above a Basilisk bookstore. It's a local used bookstore and game shop. And like he rents the upstairs from them. And you know, you can see the store's open late because there are people in there back in the back playing 40K and D&D here late night. So how do you two want to approach this?
You want to just go at him, or do you want to? I mean,
yeah. I mean, what do we got in our back pockets? We don't really have much.
not much. I got my skateboard, but that's about it, and that doesn't fit in a pocket though.
Yeah, I've got an iPod, but that doesn't hurt. I've tried.
Right. Maybe just appeal to his. Well, I was going to say better angels, but the guy's a drug dealer. but maybe he'll be worried about like losing customers because they're exploding. You know, maybe that'll loss of business will shake him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a drug dealer, but he's still got to be a businessman,
right?
That makes sense. What's this guy name again? Pitoff or
Piachi?
Okay, all right.
And listen, just I know the dude by reputation. I don't smoke. I don't know if you do or not, but let's just completely stay away from any talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just all I want to know is where he's getting this stuff from. Like who's giving it to him. That's it.
Yeah, that seems fair. I mean, what drug dealer wouldn't be quick to give up their supply, right?
Well, most of them actually. That's how they make money. But
okay.
But no, in this case, his supplier is killing his customers. So you know,
that too.
Maybe that will kind of, maybe. All right.
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Right.
It'll be fine.
What could possibly go wrong?
You can walk up this. There's a set of steps that are like an enclosed between the two buildings that you walk up, like a single light bulb in this hall. walk up to that. There's a metal door for the second floor apartment. You can, knock on that.
Hey, Biachi.
And after a little bit, you see the door open a little bit, and you see this. He looks like he must be his late 30s. He's got, motorcycle jacket on, his long, greasy hair. Smell of patchouli kind of rolls out from this place. Kind of humid. And he's like, where the fuck are you?
Crypto sent me. Said you might be holding. Got some stuff. Crypto, skater,
I don't know. What do you need?
He said you might have some stuff. Might be holding.
What do you need?
You got any weed, dude? I'm not a cop, for fuck's sake.
Well, you don't look like a cop. I could pretty much tell that. You would have brought Chicky Poo along with you there.
Yeah, I know. Goths, right? But
he looks at you. You're goth?
Yeah. Well, kind of. More of an emo than a goth these days.
Sometimes I go hang out around the masquerade when they do that over at the old brewery.
So, you holding, dude?
Hang on. And he shuts the door, and you hear him click the lock. And he's gone for a couple of minutes, and he comes back, opens the door again, and he has a baggie.
How much?
And he quotes you a cheap 2002 price for weed, which Lowell has no idea what the economy is. That is.
Dude, that's what's wrong with this weed? That's way too cheap.
That's what's wrong with this weed.
Yeah. Look, at that price, you might as well just give it to me, because you're not making money on it. What's wrong with it? What's going on?
Do you want this shit or not?
How big is this guy? Can I tell through the door?
Oh yeah, he's a pretty substantial guy. Kind of looks like a biker.
Listen. One of your customers is dead.
A lot of my customers end up dead.
Yeah. This kid exploded in front of me. And he was hanging out with a dude who looked like the Unabomber in a parka. Funny thing is, Crypto said you were with this dude. You got a guy killing your customers. And I want to find him. Because he killed, well,
Wow.
Kid's not a friend of mine, but he was a kid.
He says, "Oh, I don't think you fucking want to do that, dude."
Yeah, I kind of do. Because he gave out a bunch of these baggies to friends of mine. So this guy already killed one person. And he tried to kill the only people who tolerate him. So, and he's trying to kill your customers. So maybe you want to help me out a little bit?
He says, "I suggest you step off, turn around, you and your little gothy vampire friend here, walk back down those stairs, and you go do whatever it is you do."
You're right. We could do that. Or, and just hear me out, we could not. And I want to do something really stupid and try to push the door in on his face.
Absolutely. So, let us go to that fight.
Is this I was going to say.
This is a fight. This guy is definitively stronger than you.
Yep.
So Do me a favor. Tell me what you want to roll with.
What do I have left? I think I want to roll with sadness because he didn't just want to help us out of, the human decency.
Absolutely. So
I
go
am getting
ahead.
a dealer, but he's, still. That's a 3.
That is a 3. So
you guys +1. All right, so that is my 4th mark.
yeah, so mark sadness. And there's that moment when that door comes open and as you kind of try and push it, and he catches you with the corner of it full in the face. And you feel your nose go and you feel one of your teeth go and just throws you back against the wall. Now, normally you would be like out. However, he doesn't take you down, doesn't drop you. His attention is on you because you have a roll move that allows you to not immediately go down, right?
Yep.
So let me ask you, Justine. This guy should have taken out John, but now he and John are kind of tussling around in the hallway there. And the door is open. John's going to get taken out here and eventually. But what are you going to do in the meantime?
Yeah, I don't like that he keep calling me Chicky Poo and vampire and all that. Yeah, I'm gonna go in. I assume John's gonna do fine, even though he's gonna be taken out at some point. I'm gonna go to the door and just see what I can find in there.
Sure. Let's have you make a study move.
Yeah. What's it like to succeed rolls?
Yes.
I've forgotten how that feels.
Well, you've got fear at +2. This seems like a good time to pull
This
that
is
out.
your time.
Yeah. Look, yeah, even though I'm all emo and whatnot, I live a nice life. I have a job. This is not what I'm meant to be doing, so yeah, I'm definitely rolling fear. Oh, come on. It's a 5.
That is a 5. So, mark fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you go stumbling through and you will knock through and come crashing into this room. And you will see it is that kind of haze of blue and it's humid. And there are tables and hydroponics and grow lights here. And you kind of fall and trip, land on one of these grow tables. And you realize that there's soil and flowers and a face.
Do I recognize the face? Or is it just the face?
No, you don't recognize the face.
Okay.
But we'll come back to you two in just a second. Leela and Garrett, what do you want to do? You've run away from this woman. What do you want to do?
I think we need to just go find the other two. 'Cause I think we're getting way in over our head here.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what our after we, what was our intended plan after we go and find out what we can. It's probably to meet up somewhere, but
Let us say that probably meet up at the bookstore. It's a good central location, easy to see. Does that seem reasonable?
Yep.
Okay. So what would you two do as you're coming up on the block near it? And it's kind of late. Most of the downtown shuts down, but the game store, because they have people come in after hours to play, they've got, back room for that and stuff. So there's lights on there, but there's not lights on many other places, a few cars and things like that. What would you two do when you see that guy with the green scarf?
Garrett, you see that guy, right?
yeah.
Um, What do we do?
Well, I don't know where else we can run. Maybe he just wants to talk?
He doesn't really talk.
Yeah.
Maybe we just sneak around. He's looking at us, isn't he? Never mind. Well, what if we fight him? He didn't. Maybe we can just trip him or something and.
Okay. I don't have any weapons.
Well, you're a football player. You are a weapon.
Well, I don't have like my helmet with me.
You would have a good throwing arm. You can throw a punch, can't you? Just knock him down and we'll run away.
Okay, yeah. You know what? Yeah, let's take this guy. Yeah, so I think she starts pumping me up kind of, and I've humiliated myself enough today that, yeah, I'm just going to start walking toward him, kind of puffing my chest a little bit, like, hey, look, you know, we didn't want any trouble. We don't want any trouble now. I don't know what you're doing, but you need to get out of here.
Oh, so you're actually yelling at him.
Yeah.
And he was moving on his way, and you start shouting at him, and he will stop and looks at you as you approach. Leela, are you kind of following up behind?
Yeah, I think at this point I'm realizing, like, wait, we should, like, knock him unconscious and take him with us to, like, interrogate him. So now I'm just, like, trying to figure out a way to get him once Garrett gets him down.
And this figure waits for you to approach, Garrett. Kind of stands there, doesn't say anything.
Yeah, I get at least within a couple feet of him. And I'm just, look, I don't know what your problem is, dude. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what your deal, but you need to get out of here and get out of this town. Stop messing with kids around here.
I'm almost done. I guess last flower to judge. Gotta pick that out. Pick a flower queen who's here. So got one more.
No more flowers. No more nothing. You just need to get out of here, or else I'm going to make you get out of here.
What is he talking about? What flower queen? Who's the flower queen?
He starts stepping towards you, Garrett.
I'll hold my ground.
Okay. He says, "Bloom." And you will feel something move on your cheek, and then just this searing pain. And Leela, you see this flower start to burst out of Garrett's cheek.
Oh no. Garrett, are you okay? Like, what's happening?
It hurts way more than when I got stabbed in the face. You just need to go get help.
I don't want to leave you. Can you just, like, rip it out and run? Like, let's just go.
Actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and reach up and try to, like, rip the flower out.
Absolutely. Let's have you make a Rise to the Challenge roll.
Yeah, and I'll go and do that with anger. That is a 10.
That is a 10. You will tear that out, and it comes out roots that are kind of moving and stuff, and you feel it's hooked onto some of the muscles in your cheek, and you will pull that out of there and rip it. You've got this bloody thing in your hand, and that lightheadedness that you had before is kind of hits you, but you're still up. I'll come back to you two in just a second. Justine, what do you do?
I want answers mostly, but
Do you want to stop and try to assess and do another study? Because you know that John is about to get the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah. I don't want to just. I know Puckett suggested arson, but I think Justine would want to know what the fuck's going on first. So yeah, I think she is definitely moved on to the anger bit.
Okay.
All right, that's a 9.
So you have one hold.
I also, and as one of my role move, I can freely ask one of 2 questions in addition to my regular hold.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So, what trouble is X? I'm gonna say this drug dealer, I suppose, is looking to cause, or these flowers.
These are different flowers than you saw the other day, but they're that kind of. These aren't like, this isn't pot, but it's like you've seen people that grow like prize flowers, things like that like grow things to judge or to sell. They have that look, like these flowers are being grown to present to someone, grown for that purpose. What is your second question?
See, I'll ask a question about this situation. Can I? Can I take some of these flowers?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a free thing, I think. Absolutely.
Yeah. Can I take some of these flowers and manage to get out before?
So your question is, how do I grab these flowers and get out before this guy comes back from beating up John?
Yes.
You suspect that you could try and run down the back stairs and like run down into the store down below. That's probably that, or go out the window.
Yeah, I'm gonna try run. I don't know if I'll go at that.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, can't. That's more dramatic though. It's nice to just. No, I'm gonna try running. I don't want to make it obvious that someone was here.
Okay.
I'm gonna take all these flowers.
So, Puckett, you get to clear 3 of your marked conditions.
All right.
And I need you to tell me what the trauma is that takes you out for the moment. Like what, and describe to me what, I mean, you've held him long enough to give Justine this moment, but how does he, like, does he throw you down the stairs? Does he just beat you up and leave you there? What happens?
Well, you said he's a bigger guy than me, correct?
Yeah.
I think he grabs me by the throat, lifts me up, and chokes me until I pass out.
Absolutely. And you see he holds you there, and you see him reach down and he pulls that tourniquet off your finger. And you will go out. Justine, I think I need you to rise to the challenge.
Okay. I think I'm still on the anger. I'm still angry. This bullshit is too much. It's tiresome bullshit. That's a 5.
So I think that you're gonna mark anger, and I think you hit that back set of stairs, and there's no light back here, and you haven't been back here, and you will go tumbling down those stairs. And I think I'm gonna want you to mark injured. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, clearly There's a bunch of stuff stored back here in this back stairway. There's no real light here. You hit that, you roll down, and you will crash down to the bottom. And so what do you land on?
Oh, I can't say pillows, can't I?
No. I mean, what part of your body do you land on?
I think I land on my side, so it's just like it's probably like a rib or
Yes, something hits up in there, and you feel something start to give there. You're not sure if you've cracked it or fractured it or broken it. Leela, let's cut back to you and Garrett.
Garrett, are you sure you got that thing out of your face? Like, are you okay? Are you gonna turn into a little flower fairy or something?
Yeah, I think I got it. I mean, I definitely ripped a lot out of my face.
You see this guy, he's actually stopped, and you see him turn around and start walking away from you. Like something else has grabbed his attention.
Garrett, he looked away. We should go after him. Like, what if he's gonna go make someone else bloom? Like, we should try and stop him.
Well, I mean, do you have anything to like stop the bleeding in my face? Because that's kind of important too.
Yeah, I got a bunch of napkins in my bag. Like, here, let's just fix you up.
Where are the napkins from? Taco Bell, Popeyes? What kind of?
The cafe. I
Okay.
just grabbed a bunch because I figured we'd need them before.
Kind of push that up on there. Oh yeah, your face is numb and sore.
Yeah, I'm just holding napkins, I guess, to my face to try to soak up as much of the blood as possible. And maybe, I guess, follow the guy?
Yeah, he seems to be heading towards Basilisk bookstore, where your friends are, supposedly.
I think I would just... Okay, let's just follow him in there. You know, Justine and John are probably in there, and we can all just get them together.
Okay, and there's other people there too. I mean, surely.
Yeah, there's probably adults there, and maybe they have a gun like behind the counter.
Well, I don't want other people getting shot. Like, I think we can just take him out before he blooms anybody. Because I think he can only do that if you have like something in you. So, oh no, John has something in him.
Well, okay, let's get him in there, and then the problem will take care of itself.
And you see this guy walks up, and you see there's the front of the bookstore, but then there's this side door. It clearly goes up to an apartment, and you see he goes up to that door, opens it, and starts to go up those stairs.
Do you think John and Justine are up there? Do you think they went in the store? Where should we go?
Well, let's just follow him and see what's going on up there.
Okay. So you two will get to the base of those stairs. Come back to you two in a second. Justine, what do you do?
I try to get up and tired groaning, and I think there's no light, but I'm gonna like see if I'm gonna make a time light with my iPod.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like there's a back door to go out the back of the store, or you could walk into the back game room of the store.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna walk. Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna like try and walk out. I don't know. Suddenly, I think I'm suddenly conscious that I don't know where John is.
That's right. You don't.
But I think I've got these flowers. I'm gonna try and find my other friends first. I think I'm gonna try and get out.
Out through the store or out through the back?
Through the back. I sound very confident saying that.
Okay. So you will run out the back. You're out in this back alley, and you've got these flowers.
Yeah, not everyone has phones, do they?
No. Welcome to 2002. You're probably one of the few people among your group who does have a cell phone.
It was either that or the I went for the iPod first. So
Okay, fair enough.
This is me thinking Wow, we should have bought phones. Next time, I'll buy everyone phones. We'll just the hubris.
The hubris of it.
Of it. Yeah. These flowers, they're just flowers, right?
Yeah, they're beautiful flowers.
Yeah, they seem very lovely for being grown out of
Sort of like a yellow rose with the kind of red veins running through it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stagger out of the alley because again, we all talked about meeting up at this bookstore to see if
I think for dramatic purposes, it has to be that you stagger around the outside and you see a bloody-faced Garrett and Leela kind of starting to move to the door that goes up to the place that you were just at.
I think I shot their names a big oi.
Yeah, you two are like super nervous approaching that, trying to follow the strange guy, and then you hear your names being called.
What the crap, Justine? Where did you come from?
Long story. My side hurts. So, we just came from in there. We
Wait,
tried to
where's
talk.
John?
Shit. He got into a fight with a drug dealer. He's somewhere in there. Fuck, we need to go find him. Yeah, he got into a fight with a drug dealer. Oh, sorry, say that again.
Leave him in there.
Sorry, my internet broke up there again.
We can't leave him in there, right?
No, yeah, of course not. We're not gonna leave him in there. Are you okay? What's?
No, not really. I ripped this flower out of my face, and I'm bleeding again.
Wait. There was a flower on your face. Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, we saw the creepy guy. We were following him. He's going in there.
Wait, in there?
Yeah.
Shit. Well, I just came out from there. That him and the drug dealer, they're involved with some stuff. These flowers were growing out of a. Okay, we need to go in there. Okay, all right. We need to go in there. Justine's very panicky, and she's waving the iPod around. And
Light flashing everywhere.
Okay, well, let's just go in there and get John, and get out, and figure it out after that.
Okay. I'll put the iPod away. I'm still holding on to these flowers.
So, the three of you, who is charging up this narrow stairway first?
I am, I think, because I'm not injured.
Okay. So you will go up these stairs. You can see there's a hallway, light bulb, and the door, sort of big metal door to the whatever this apartment is at the top is open. You don't see John there or anything. Are you approaching cautiously or are you rushing up?
I'm approaching cautiously because, like, the creepy guy's kind of shuffling and quiet, and I'm just trying to see if I can see him around anywhere.
You will get up to the top of that doorway, and you can see there's like a room, and there are a couple of doors off from the room, and you will hear like some kind of commotion going on in a front room where you can see like there's the like fluorescent light of grow lights, and you can see John is laid out on the floor, unconscious. You can see he's got red marks around his throat where he got choked out, and you can see that his finger has burst open and there's a flower coming out of it.
So can I go try and, like, pull the flower out of his finger?
Absolutely. Why don't you make a basic move roll? Let's have you rise to the challenge to see if you can do this without permanently destroying his finger and the nerves in it. What would you roll that with?
I think I'd be rolling with control because I'm just, like, kind of taking charge now. Like, all right, all my friends are broken. Like, I gotta do this.
Perfect.
So that's an 8.
8. So I think you'll be able to get that pulled out of him. but that finger is going to be permanently scarred and damaged, but you get it out before it can like grow any further up his arm. Does that seem fair? Justine, Garrett, you can stumble up here into this area. You see John laid out on the floor. You see Leela pulling that flower out, and it kind of gives with a sound as she pulls it out. And there's noise, some sort of almost like gurgling coming from that front room where the grow light was. What do you do, Justine?
All right, let's grab John and just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Like, we should probably tell somebody about this. Like, something's going down here.
Let's get John out first, and then we'll figure that out.
Okay.
So you two are going to go to move John out. You're not going to check the front room to see what's going on there at all.
If I wasn't injured, I probably would.
Okay.
I think I would want to glance, because if we're going to tell people there's something going on here, we can't just like tell people, oh yeah, somebody might be growing drugs. Like, I'm going to need more than that.
Okay. Then if I could please have you face fear, Garrett.
Yeah, I'm going to face fear with anger, because
Okay.
I'm pretty ticked off about my jacked up face. And that's a 4. It's not a good day for Garrett.
So go ahead and mark anger.
And that's my 4th emotion marked.
Yes. And you would also mark another one, because the failure here. You look in there, and you can see this guy, Pianchi, is backing away from the gardener. And he's going, they were just here. The flowers, they were just here. I don't know where they went. I don't know where they are. They're here. And you'll hear this guy go, well, then you forfeit. And he says, bloom again. And you are just sprayed, as much like that figure that you saw the other night. Pianchi explodes in flowers and thorns and ivy as this guy waves his hand over him. And you kind of black out there. Layla, sorry, the kitten is at my cord and my feet right this second. You will get John up, but even as you get John up, you see Garrett stagger back, and he's blank-eyed. Like, you can tell that he has lost it.
Garrett, are you okay over there? Like, we gotta go. Come help me with John.
It looks like someone's going to have to help Garrett down, too.
Yeah, I'll do that. I kind of walk up to him and say, Garrett. I can just slap him in the not injured part of his face.
Okay. So, Leela, you want to get John up and out of here?
Yeah.
Okay. I think given your roll before and stuff, you can get him up. John, you're starting to come to, and you can run him down those stairs. Does that seem fair? And kind of get out onto the street. The cooler evening air will hit you as you come down here, and you're both just kind of staggered. Justine, I want you to make a rise challenge roll.
Of course you do. I'm just feeling sad. It's not been a great day. Feel sad about Garrett. Sad about me, but Noah, but John, but Lena, and everyone else. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Thank you, -1 ongoing, because you brought me to a 6.
I think you will pull Garrett back, and even as you do that, you feel this hand reach out and grabs your arm. And you will see that gloved figure. And he looks at you, and he looks at those flowers that you've got in your hand, and he says, "Are those for me?"
Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they?
He holds out his other hand as if to say, "Give those to me."
Yeah, I'm gonna very cautiously, hand them over.
And you see him take them, and he sniffs them, and he says, "Well, I guess you're the winner."
What do I win?
You'll find out. And he kind of pushes you and Garrett back. And I assume you take off.
Yeah.
Cut to the street, the four of you out there. John, you finally come to, your neck is just hurting, and you look down, and it's just that throbbing pain of your ravaged finger there. And you see Leela's with you, kind of has clearly gotten you downstairs and gotten you outside. I think you might be muted, John.
I am. I also didn't hear a question.
What do you say? What do you do?
Do we see Garrett and Leela, or Garrett and Justine coming down the stairs yet?
Yeah, you kind of come back, kind of catch your breath. As you finally come to, you will see the two of them staggering out.
What are we doing down here?
What do you say, Leela?
I mean, the creepy guy's in there, but we got away now, so...
No, we didn't get away.
I mean, you're alive.
We didn't solve the problem.
We're just kids. We can't solve all the problems. We gotta get, like, somebody else involved in this. This is way bigger than us. What can we possibly do now in this moment to stop us?
I hold up my lighter.
You wanna burn down a bookstore?
It's got a grow lab upstairs. Nobody's going to ask questions.
It's got people inside.
Get him out.
Garrett?
After the fire starts.
Justine, you can stagger over to where John and Leela are.
Guys, John wants to burn down the building.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Thank you. Somebody
Why
else gets
not?
it.
What if we burn down other buildings? What if we just burn down we're trying to save lives here, aren't we?
I mean, that guy exploded in there?
Another one?
Yeah. As I'm gesturing to, like, the blood that sprayed all over me.
Then why can't we just burn the creepy guy instead? The whole building.
Because we don't know what those flowers are. You know, we got to deal with Piachi. We got to deal with the gardener. We got to deal with these flowers. The flowers that were in there look different.
Garrett, that guy you saw exploded, was he like way big?
Yeah.
Well, that's
It was
Piachi.
pretty big.
Piachi's dealt with.
Well,
And I
okay, so we don't have to deal with Piachi. We just got to deal with the gardener and the flowers and find out where the hell all this other stuff is coming from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's some good news.
Yeah, I mean, I think they kind of know who we are. It didn't seem good.
And I think I have to move us forward a little framing here because we're getting towards the end of time. And I think that, I mean, the next day they'll come, they'll find the grow lab, they'll find a body. Police will cover that up. No other kids go missing. That seems to have ended. Whatever contest the gardener was overseeing has wrapped. And apparently someone won. Though I don't know if Justine ever tells you guys that she won.
She doesn't say.
And it's creepy. That, you know, when you talk to Arturo later, you find out that Miss Clemens is gone. Something happened to her. And it's strange. People write it off as a weird phase of this year. And it will stay in people's memories, but they won't really talk about it. I'd like to do a little bit of epilogues, if I could. And then if you could give me a couple minutes to do stars and wishes at the end. Is that okay for everybody? Let's start with Garrett. Garrett, what do you think we see with you after this? What's our epilogue for you?
I think Garrett is extremely scarred, both mentally and, I mean, his face is kind of messed up. But I think it sort of changes. He decides to spend more time focusing on sports, and just basically, if he's hitting people and getting hit on the football field, he's not thinking about what happened to him. And so he just drills into sports. And I think at some point he even becomes like the starting quarterback. Like, the coaches take notice of how much time he's been spending. And, you know, he's spending that extra time lifting weights, and he's spending all that time studying the playbooks instead of studying for the chemistry tests. And I think the last thing we see of him is he gets home one night after like a really intense practice, and, you know, his mom greets him at the door, and he even goes out of his way to ask her if she'll make him one of those chocolate pomegranate smoothies.
Delicious. John, what about you?
I think in John's case, he wound up realizing that he kind of likes Leela after she pulled that stuff out of his finger. And I mean, the finger doesn't work great, but, you know, everybody's got issues. You know, it's like, at least this way, when he, like, you know, catches it between the board and the coping, he doesn't really feel it. You know, so, I mean, that's good, right? I mean, that there's a good side to it. And Huxley, the kitten, was accepted by his mom, and in fact spends more time with her than Huxley does with John. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to the cattery someday and get another. But for now, things are kind of peaceful as he kind of like silently pines away and tries not to think about the night that he almost got choked to death. And he doesn't wake up in a cold sweat too many nights, just, you know, once or twice a week, maybe.
Fair enough. Leila, what about you?
I think I realized like how important my family is to me, and I don't want to get away anymore. Like, with all the craziness that happened, like, I want to just be here with my friends and help everyone out. So I start getting serious about school and try and get scholarships or something to go to college.
And that your parents will be pleased. Do you communicate with your brother after that?
Yeah, I think I reach out to him too and try to encourage him to, like, get out sooner, have some good behavior or something. Like, we need you out here.
Nice. And Justine, what about you? The Flower Queen.
God. Yeah, I think it's a parallel to Garrett's in the sense that Justine kind of gradually starts withdrawing into herself again. I think going back to like just being not as obvious as last time, but like yeah, just being like more in the background of things. She just like put yourself like, okay, here's work, here's home, here's talking to parents. You know, don't make a fuss again. Just don't make a big fuss. Don't get people bleeding at your workspace. Those sort of things. And I think outwardly she's keeping up pretenses, I suppose. Like yeah, and trying to be a bit more friendly, but inwardly she's waiting to see what she won.
Yeah. It's a good thing to wait for. And that's where we're going to stop. And I want to thank all of you. I would like, if you don't mind, doing a quick stars and wishes, things you liked, things you would like to have seen more of, that kind of thing. Even things that you weren't as certain about. But I'd like to do that. If you can give me 5, 6 minutes, you guys okay with that? Let's do that same order I just did. Let me start with you, Robert. Things you want to point to? Good, bad? What do you want to say?
I mean, I really, well, I liked how the dice ended up rolling for us. That got pretty dark pretty quick.
Yeah.
Garrett just had a real rotten day there. But I did really like John's wanting so much to burn something down. It just kept coming back to that over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really hoping that we'd get to burn something down for him, but it ended up turning out okay. One thing, and this is kind of, I guess, related to the game, is
sure.
Once you have so many emotions marked, it becomes weird. Like, in a really dark moment, I have a hard time thinking of how I would roll, like with joy, for example.
Well, and one of the things to think about is that you can even consider it the antithesis of that. That's what's absent. It's either you're using that emotion, or you're almost using the negative of it in that case. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it that I didn't really consider at the time. Because like you get into a situation where it's like, well, am I using joy, peace, or anger? Like, well, of course it's got to be anger, but yeah, I didn't think about it like that. So
yeah,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I need to be clear about that. That's a really good point. Anything else you want to say?
Other than that, yeah, I really like the descriptions of minor body horror with the seed. Yeah, that's good.
Sherry's in the other room, and at the break she was like, "That was really fucking creepy." So it's good when I can get her to freak out, and she's not even playing. So, Puckett, what would you like to say?
Well, I really enjoyed playing with everybody, especially the way that everybody kind of really inhabited their characters and dug into it. It almost feels like there's too many basic moves.
Okay.
And I mean, part of this, I think, is the way that is being used to other PbtA games where everybody has a playbook, and that's basically, you've got like half a dozen moves you can choose from, and you choose 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a handful of basic moves that everybody has access to. So this actually, it almost felt like the role and identity moves were too specific.
Interesting.
To the situation. Because I think in 2 sessions we had 1 or 2 identity or role or identity moves used.
Well, right. Justine used both of hers today.
I used mine inadvertently.
Yeah. Garrett used his.
Okay.
Leela used one of hers.
So it was more than I thought, by like 2.5 times.
Yeah, part of it is I didn't call out so much when those were going on too. That's a good point.
So you were just taking note of it as a GM and like kind of applying it to the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I like the way it plays. I like the creepiness of it. I like that it's more body horror oriented almost, or at least it was in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to look at the basic moves and see. You know, I agree with you generally. I prefer having fewer basic moves, and I split out some things for this. But I'll go back and take a look at those and see if there are things that can be consolidated
or eliminated even. I mean, like just look. I mean, yeah, there's because it's like I look at Share a Moment and Stand By Me. I don't know if there's a way to combine those two for.
So interesting thing is that they're combined in Hearts of Wulin, but the criticism I got was that people don't like them when they're combined because they can't figure out because they kind of do two separate things.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean they could be combined, and I've done it that way before. So that's a good point.
Yeah, and it's with stuff like Face Fear, I can understand why. I understand why some of them are broken out like they're like rising to a challenge and facing fear. It feels like flip sides of the same coin, but given what you just said about the Hearts of Wulin critique, okay, I get that.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I will definitely go back and look at the number of moves, and I appreciate that feedback.
But otherwise, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. I appreciate that you gave us an opportunity to get a kitten. I realize that probably shocked you. But otherwise, yeah, I had a lot of fun with it, even in a playtest state.
Well, and we got to put the kitten in peril a couple of times, so that was good. So, then Julie, thoughts that you want to put on the table?
Yeah, I mean, this is like my first official completed game now, so I don't know how much I can really comment on the mechanics or anything of it, but like I really liked like the immersive details you were able to give, and like even just everyone else contributing, and like Justine was such a model employee going to like clean up the bathroom and everything, blood everywhere and whatever. Like, no, wait, hold on, guys, I don't want to get fired. Like, I thought that was hilarious. Like, it was good.
I really like that moment where you burst into the bathroom. I thought that was a really good. That felt really honest to your character, and it was a nice bit. Anything else you want to say?
No, just it was super fun playing with all of you.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Leandro, I'm going to give you last word.
Yeah, God, I feels weird to do. It feels I'm on a pedestal now. No, I'm okay. I'm gonna stop stammering. Because that means I've enjoyed myself. That's what I keep telling people. I think everyone just. I mean, the dice was not nice, but I think everyone
dice were so unpleasant to you guys tonight.
It was absurd. So I want to give it the dice rolled an anti-star.
Yes, fair enough.
Black hole. There we go. Like we would have liked to be able to solve that mystery. But I love like everyone's just like rolling with it and just like, okay, yeah, no, we'll roll with this failure. And of course, you're always there, Lowell, to just crank it up a bit. Specifically, I did want to shout out that bit where Leela burst into the bathroom. I love how proactive she is, and honestly, Julie, I didn't think this was some of your first games because
seriously,
you're just fearless, which was very fab, and like that's not what I was when I started first playing for sure. That's kind of want to highlight the star. I think the main wish I have is kind of like I wish we had another session.
Right? Yeah.
That's kind of my main one because like I think if we had another session, we could have dug into like the other moves we didn't get to roll, like share a moment because there wasn't time to share a moment. It was like we gotta get through this mystery and whatnot. So I think, I think maybe it's just me. I'm just not used to like one shots with like PbtA systems because it always feels like there's some beats I want to hit, but we couldn't have the time. Like specifically, I wanted after I had an idea of like after having me sent to my room, trying to call Garrett and complain to him about my life, stuff like that. But time always hits you. Yeah.
True. All right. Well, that all of that is great to hear, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And thank you all very much for trying this out with me. I had a good time, and I'm going to stop recording.